There we go. Should be all up and running. Good evening, everybody. How are we doing? Welcome along to another Paranormal Monkey podcast. It's going to be a bit of a busy one this evening. Let's put this mildly. Hopefully, all of you guys at home have watched the very first episode of The Supernatural UK. It's on YouTube. Please, 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 if you haven't seen it, particularly if you're watching this on catch-up, go and watch The Supernatural UK YouTube channel for the very first episode, when me and Diane are involved as the investigators, called The Objects That Move. So yeah, please do, because it's a fantastic brand new series which finally rolls out. And so tonight we are talking with the filmmakers, Andy Bourne and John Shackleton, who put all of this series together, plus a whole bunch of investigators. And and then obviously we'll go through this talk about the series, all about the episodes. So, and it's like I say, it's going to be a busy one. We're all quite small. We're going to have all little boxes. It's going to be like if you remember the Teams calls during COVID times, it's going to be a little bit like that. So, first of all, it's welcoming Andy Bourne, filmmaker.
Hello. Hi, evening.
There oh, there we go. And John Shackleton.
Hello.
Good evening to you both. There we are. Now then, so we're going to start introducing everybody else. I suppose we have to bring in, Mr. Kerr. Hey, and Lisa.
Doing? Hi.
And we've got Karin. There she is. She doesn't like being on the camera, but she's got no choice this evening. And I suppose we'll better bring in Diane as well. There she is. My partner in crime. How are we doing, everybody? How are we all feeling, first of all? John and Andy, go to you first. How are you feeling about it finally being unveiled, very first episode?
Really good. A little bit surreal, but very, very good. Yeah. I was just saying, we saw 106 people who were in the premiere, and I've had premieres in cinemas with way less people attending, so I'm very grateful.
Yeah, it looks like we tried to kind of spread the word, and actually everybody who's been involved in this or knew about it, so many people have kind of put this out there to try and give you the best kind of start, because obviously it's a brand new series. People may not necessarily know of you, so I suppose we better start with that. Andy and John, do you want to say a little bit about yourselves, your background, and how you came about this whole series.
Do you want to start or shall I, John?
Go for it. Jump in.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a filmmaker. I've been making all sorts of films for about 30 years now. Not been involved in the paranormal community in any way at all. So this is literally absolutely new to me. John invited me along, and I thought I would help him to document his experiences, and I've just sort of come along for the ride, really. So I've worked in sort of normal TV broadcast industry, but also corporate films, commercials, that sort of thing, so quite varied. And yeah, I have to say I've had to throw everything at this to sort of try and capture the moment as we've gone, so it's been quite an experience. And I mostly have been looking after a lot of the post-production and graphics and that sort of thing. So John has done a lot of the hard work in terms of taking hours and hours and hours of footage down to a sort of watchable story, and then it comes to me and I have to make it into something presentable that we can show to an audience. So that's my background: filmmaking, anything to do with cameras and filming. No experience of the paranormal whatsoever, so it's all new to me.
I put the story together, as Andy says, kind of in the edit, and it's quite laborious because it takes a long time. Anybody who's tried to edit these things before knows, but then when you add multiple cameras, multiple audio tracks to it, long nights, and we can't miss a single frame. We have to comb through everything to find it. It takes months just to put a single episode together. That's from my point of view. And then when it goes to Andy does a whole other layer of magic to it, which I can't do. So I think we've partnered on this because we've got very complementary skills.
Yeah.
I can bring it together and put the story together, but it looks like, excuse the word, crap. Andy comes in and does virtual studio stuff and levitating druids and just cool stuff, but just makes it watchable. So it's worked well together. And I have to say, from my experience, because me and Andy go back years, Andy was a little bit reluctant at the start of this. Like, oh God, another one of John's projects. And he's changed throughout the course of it. He's now proper full on into it, and I think that's because these episodes have just got so juicy.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, what we'll do is we'll just do a whistle stop tour of the. I don't know where Lisa disappeared to, but whistle stop tour of everybody else in the chat. So, Karin, do you want to say? Obviously, you're a producer of this series as well, but do you want to say again? I know that people know about Kev. We can ignore Kev, but do you want to? we won't. But Karin, do you want to say a bit about yourself and your involvement? I suppose the involvement of this series and how what role you took in this.
Well, I was lucky enough that Craig, who me and Lisa work for, he brought along a client called John to film us at a location, I think it was before COVID, and he was great fun. And we've got very chatty. And then one day he said, "Oh, do you fancy doing something?" And I went, "Yeah." And it's progressed from there. But I'm so lucky because I've been involved with the Jamaica Inn for over 10 years, and myself and Lisa are advisors for, heritage places. And we love investigating, and it's something that I still love 17 years later.
Yeah, absolutely. Lisa's gone again. I was just about to ask Lisa what she's. So I'm afraid we're going to have to move on to Kev. Go on, Kev. Your involvement in this series?
In this series, so yeah, I've done a couple of episodes with John. Had absolutely massively profound experience on one of them that was super interesting, and even to be fair, on both of them there was some interesting things that happened. But I like to be involved more because it's more documentary based than it is TV show based. So it's more about what we're doing and being filmed doing that than it is being directed and told, right, we need to use this bit of equipment in there, we need to react a certain way and that kind of thing. What I like about this is we are being filmed doing what we do.
Yeah.
So I ended up being involved with John on a previous project a good few years back through Karin. And then from there, it's kind of led to being involved with this show as well. So, yeah,
we're
I'm
going to
quite
come
excited.
back to these experiences of yours, Kev. For Mr. Hardened Skeptic Man. We need to get your viewpoint. Okay, and the lovely Diane, obviously mod of this channel. So, Diane, your involvement in this series as well.
I'm the spooky bird. So obviously I stepped up at quite short notice, Justin, to investigate with you, and then went on to do another episode with the lovely Karin, Lisa and Katie, who appears with Kevin in one of the episodes.
There you go. So, and Lisa, your involvement though at Warwick Castle with a bunch of lovely ladies.
Yes, I was with Corinne, Di and Katie. And I went along, Corinne invited me along, and I was really looking forward to going. I wasn't expecting to actually be taking part. I was just having to go along and support the girls and just be there. But I was actually involved and had, they filmed me as well, which was just such an amazing experience. And just us 4 girls, it was the best experience I can ever think I've had so far. It's amazing. I loved it.
That's fantastic. Absolutely. And I suppose with Andy and John, do you want to just give people, obviously we've seen episode 1 this evening. Do you want to give people an idea of the structure of the, because there's 10 episodes in total, but they've kind of, you've blocked them essentially in terms of the, about the themes of these episodes. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's right. So there is 10 episodes. Well, we hope there'll be 10 episodes. Warwick, as you just mentioned, hits the edit tomorrow. So we've done 8 episodes. So there's 2 more to cut, and then we can deliver on a 10 episode series, which is great. Yeah. Andy, do you want to jump in and say anything?
So I mean, we've obviously got lots of different locations. Shall I go talk through some of the locations? So you've obviously seen the museum in Nottingham. We've got the House of Frankenstein, that's episode 3. There's a theatre in Monmouth, Wales. That's episode 2.
Grouped under attractions. So the first 3 are attractions, right?
Yeah. So attraction locations. Then there's Watton Castle that we went to in Clevedon, and that's actually got there's 2 episodes for that because we had I mean, we'll probably talk about it a bit more, but we had a phenomenal experience there on the first visit. And then we actually went back, we revisited, we had to go back to that location. So that goes across a couple of episodes. We were lucky enough to go to Shepton Mallet Prison, which was a bit of a turning point on my journey. So we had some really interesting experiences there. So that was a phenomenal location. And then we've got a costume hire in, it's just outside of Bath. 3, was that right, John?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
2 episodes there.
2 episodes there, and again had I think the first visit was quite sedate, and that was actually my first investigation with John, and I sort of thought, oh crikey, I thought it was going to be more dramatic, but a lot of things that happened were quite subtle, and then it ended up warranting a second visit, and we had a phenomenal experience on the second visit there. So that's episodes
7 and 8.
7 and 8. And then we've got Warwick Castle, which again was a phenomenal location, and we had almost unlimited. I mean, this is Corinne that's organised this, unlimited access for 2 days to explore that amazing location. We were down in the dungeons, wandering around at 3 a.m, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, John's really got his work cut out there, because that is 2 days. 2 days of solid filming, wasn't it? I mean, it was
what 4 or 5 cameras?
Yeah.
How many audio devices? It's just like, I've got hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of stuff. But that is where Karin had she performed her first very psychic experience, to my knowledge, which is kind of mind blowing. I can't get over it. Karin downplays it a lot, but I think it's on par with Kev's experience at Walton Castle. But we'll see how it plays out in the edit. But another thing, just to add, just on the introduction thing. Andy and I go back years through filmmaking and TV and stuff. And then having met Karin through professional side of accountancy, through business and all the rest of it, she introduced me to all you guys. And so it's like a funnel type thing. So we know you guys because of Karin. So she's
yeah, she's bloody everywhere, Karin, isn't she?
What do you want? What do you want next? And then she'll go, okay, speak to Diane, and away we go. And that's how things happen. So it's the series wouldn't have happened at all without Karin. So credit.
One thing I wanted to touch on, Andy, you said that before this you'd not been remotely involved in the paranormal community whatsoever, and complete kind of skeptic. Fair enough to say, in terms of just didn't believe in any of it, kind of and things. And John, were you more of a believer, or were you always interested?
I'd say I was open-minded.
So in terms of
I was kind of, I didn't believe, but I was okay. They all believe it, so let's go and see what it's all about, type thing. Whereas Andy was a bit like,
that's what
rolling.
I think.
Really? And that changed.
Because I want to push this point that obviously you have filmed this, and obviously a huge experience in documentary filmmaking. So it is grounded in realism from the get-go. Whatever we say, whatever we experience, that's it's a case of you're just documenting what what we do. I mean, so it's not you're not trying to push for, obviously, to make something appear that it didn't actually occur, or you're not trying to fake anything and whatsoever. It's absolutely grounded in realism.
I'm interested. I'm intrigued. So I can't, for example, if I'm working on a TV show, I can't go in with a forced agenda. I'm not making reality TV, or you know what I mean, where you kind of produce the reality, you produce what happens. I'm filming sort of verite style, if you like. I'm filming what happens and then telling the story in the edit. And that's really important to me, just to get that right. So there's no way I would interfere with your processes on any of these investigations. We might have a brainstorm on it and throw some ideas around. Let's try this, let's try that, or whatever. That's all very interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm there to document, and that's where it gets interesting.
And I'm going to move on to Karin, because I'm going to try and get around to everybody. So Karin, obviously, as the lady has put all, helped put all the investigators together and got involved, and obviously you go in. I think you're in obviously House of Frankenstein. You're in there with the lovely Lorian, and you doing the a bit of historical stuff background going on. But obviously, you're a producer for this series as well. I mean, how in terms of what do you want as the main message that you want to get across about this series to everybody watching?
I think for me, because obviously with the Jamaica Inn, we've had mainstream, TV shows come down, and they're fantastic. But this, to me, is such realism and honesty, and it's also so different. So you're having people with daytime jobs, and I'm wondering if people can recognise which ones in the cards we are. Who love investigating, and then by chance, and I don't think John and Andy realise how lucky we've been to have things that have had a seasoned investigator scratching our head, and it's all real. There's no fakery, because we're there to investigate the style that we do. But the funniest thing is, something seems to like John, and to see him sort of cringe and shake and say, "I don't like it," it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Embarrassing, I would say, but hey.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that's the thing. Actually, not obviously there are things that happen in episode 3, the one where Kev's involved, and I loved your expression, Kev, by the way. When you're literally trying to work out what the hell is going on at one point, which is amazing, which I'll not give too many spoilers, but it's great. And then obviously you did the seance session, which we've discussed before, where again, you have been, what's the word? Flummoxed, I think is the best way of describing
episode
it.
4, that is, just so people know.
Kev, are you there, or are you just? I think is he frozen, or is he still there, or has he gone to sleep?
He's frozen.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's gone.
He's just holding
Yeah.
really still. There we go.
Hang on. He's going to go and coming back again. Don't worry. We'll get Kev eventually. So I really do want to quiz Kev about the weird things that happened to him. But very briefly, obviously, whilst we wait for Kev to come in, Lisa, Karin, Diane, is there anything that happened that obviously, Diane, you was, all three of you, Lisa, Karin, and Diane, you all went to Warwick Castle. Did you experience anything there at Warwick which was unexpected and you were really loving?
There was lots. There was lots of very little, very subtle things. But I know, Justin, you are such a lover of the Estes method. And at one point, a lot of people will say it's just radio you're picking up. But quite frankly, some of the language and remarks that were coming through were so X-rated. That's not coming through from no radio station.
It was weird. It was really weird.
Yeah.
I think the nice thing was to have 4 women at a castle that has empathy, and I think that shone through. And, fantastic for Lisa, the way that she coped with her mobility issues up and down the stairs everywhere. And it shows no matter how physically able you are, you can do it if you want to, and Lisa proved it.
Yeah, getting into the Undercroft was a challenge, I will admit, but
you made the trailer with it.
Yeah. And I think that also highlights that you can your brain can play tricks on you, and you can scare yourself silly through something that isn't paranormal at all. It's just someone touching you in the dark.
I'm sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, it's fine, Di. You're forgiven, love. It's fine.
That was brilliant. It was so good. So
Yeah.
Oh, and Kev, I know you probably missed my question completely, but I wanted to move on to you because obviously you, I said if you missed it, that I thoroughly enjoyed episode 3 because I've seen episode 1, 2, and 3. Episode 3, we're involved at the House of Frankenstein in Bath, and your expression on a particular moment where you genuinely look really puzzled, which I loved. And again, you had the same kind of expression when you did a seance session in another episode. So, as Mr. Hardcore Skeptic, can you do you want to give your thoughts and impressions on things which you have experienced and which was picked up in the series involving you?
So the one at Frankenstein's house, someone behind the door was the craziest part for me. And it was because I was stood in front of this door and we were just genuinely chatting. I don't think even John didn't even have the camera running at the time, and we were just sort of nattering away. And then all of a sudden, it slammed shut behind me. And it was like, oh, I didn't even notice it was off the latch or anything. And it was like, oh, okay. But then I could hear someone the other side of it, and I thought someone was up there that thought, oh God, they're filming. I shouldn't be here at this minute. And it sort of like an awkward moment. So they slammed the door shut, and then sort of got nervous and hid and wasn't going to say anything. And I was genuinely trying to ask someone who I thought was on the other side of the door, because I could hear like feet moving and shuffling. So it sounded like someone was just on the other side. I was just there, genuinely going, can you just tell me if you're there? We're in the middle of filming. If you just say you're there, it's fine. Don't worry. It's not a problem. And like no one responded. So I went all the way downstairs, got the owner. He was like, oh, no one should be up there. I was like, okay, well, can you come and unlock it then? So he come up, he put the code in, opened the door, and it was just an empty office. And there was no other way in or out. It was just, redundant. And we looked around everywhere thinking, come on, because we could hear it. And I believe John actually got some of the audio of the footsteps on the other side. But it was one of those moments where you go, what the hell? And knowing that the door doesn't slam shut, and knowing that latch is a secure latch, so you have to pull it down to close it in. It's the ones with the bars built into them, so you have to turn it down to slide into place. So it was like, so it didn't matter what you did with that door, whether you pushed it, let it go slowly, anything else, it would always stick on the latch, which is where it was. and then suddenly, slammed as I've stood by it. It's a big shame that we didn't have, a camera running at that exact moment when it actually happened. But it was one of those where it was really, really confusing.
I mean, as a kind of skeptic of all things paranormal, Kev, because this has happened to you twice now on the same series, where you've just been like, that shouldn't be happening. I cannot explain that. Does it kind of obviously catches you unawares where you go into full debunk mode? Are you trying to explain it? But
yeah,
are you obviously aware that you're on camera and your expressions are on camera, and therefore?
What I try to do, and you know me, yes, I'm a skeptic, but I'm also an investigator, and I also love spooky stuff and ghosts and all of that kind of thing. And in that scenario, it's like, I'm there to explain things. And if something catches me off guard, so I haven't pre-planned, set up an experiment, we're going to look at this door that closes, now we're going to set an experiment in place, and we're going to try opening windows, doors, all that kind of stuff. That's what I would do as a skeptical investigator. But when something's happened that you're not ready for, so you haven't put any of those controls in place, you haven't made sure no one was near the door, or what effect the footing around the door and the frame might have, and that kind of thing. As a skeptic, because I think any skeptic, whether you're hardcore or whether you're could look at that moment and go, okay, I've got to get the after answers. So let's have a look at this door. Let's see if there's any other way into that room, if someone's trying to sort of play with us or anything like that, which you can't find anything. And then you go, okay, that's not the answer I was looking for. And then you go, okay, well, maybe the door just come off the latch. And then when you actually test that latch and it doesn't close on its own, and physically, whichever way you look at it, it's a good 5 mil over before it begins to slope. So it's not just a steady, it'll hit it and then close. So then you go, oh, well, I don't know how that happened. Because even on a slight frame move, the frame is a central point. So, the engineer in me looks at it and goes, the only way that can happen is if someone actually moved the latch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I suppose what I wanted to ask as well was, obviously, Diane, obviously, everyone's just only seen the very first episode. So we're publicly, we've only based it on the first episode, but I suppose I best go to you first, Diane, because we did it together. What were your thoughts on the Museum of Curiosities?
Well, it's quite a peculiar place, isn't it? Lots of strange things, which obviously weren't shown. Definitely, like the skulls and that were really, really interesting. I think we've got to be careful with the dolls scenario, but obviously little shark-eyed girl was really, really strange. And I don't, well, John knows, I was just really drawn to that doll for some reason.
Which made no sense
because it was hideous.
No, but it made no sense. There's so many hideous dolls. And this is what I need to really get across to people. I'd been there on my own. Dolls moved on camera. I'm alone in this room. These things started to rock. I'm like, okay, this is odd. And I told them about it. And then I spoke to Karin about it. And we talked about hidden wires and all that stuff. There's none of that going on. And then that particular doll that I'd filmed where the thing moved, you made a beeline for.
I know.
No guidance. I told you nothing intentionally, and you chose it. I mean, you could have chosen any one of 300 dolls, and you chose that one, and I don't know why.
No, neither do I.
Yeah.
No, like I said,
I mean that genuinely that was weird that you chose that one doll that had been recorded moving. Well, seemingly recorded moving.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I'm not psychic. I don't claim to be psychic. I think I have good intuition. So whether that's I pick up on just everything subtle stuff that's going on, and I collect all that, and that's what I come out with, or if there's some other force at work. But I'm not making no claims. But yeah, that doll, she really grabbed me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there was a lot of weird. There's a lot of weird stuff in that museum. If anybody just watched it, there's a lot of weird stuff, and it's not just limited to dolls. It's there's skulls, There's
It was the
there's all manner of
stuffed
things
things.
that they've
The
got.
stuffed things that were funny, wasn't it? Like the Victorian things where
Yeah.
they put wings on from one creature on another creature. That was really quite bizarre.
If I can just hark back to the
Yeah.
actual day and the production of it, though, it's like, if you can remember, it was all very last minute. Because normally Andy comes with me. Andy couldn't make it. It was like, oh my God, this was like a Wednesday or something. Can you make it on the Friday to Nottingham? No, I can't. And I'll go on my own. And then we'd never met. So I'd not met either of you. And
No.
I think Karin had made an introduction, made a quick phone call. Can we go there? We went there, and I'm on my own with you guys trying to tell the whole story and let everything happen naturally. And then all those things that we captured were just way too many coincidences for it to be.
Yeah. I mean, as a filmmaker, do you? I mean, obviously, you're used to documentaries, you're used to filmmaking, and so therefore, you know your equipment. Were you genuinely surprised with some of the things that you were picking up audio wise?
Wasn't even the equipment, because yes, the equipment, and yes, in post production, and Andy will testify because Andy's been through all those audio streams with a fine tooth comb, finding EVPs, finding responses to questions that you guys were asking on that and none of us could hear at the time. That's one thing, but you know, the technology is there. The cameras, I mean, I'm kind of losing my thread at the moment. Sorry, Andy, do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, as John says, I mean, it's interesting because a lot of the things we don't discover until the edit. So you've thrown all that tech at it and you're filming it and you're trying to follow a story. And as John says, then we get back into the edit and suddenly you pick up on something. And the sounds, and I know, Justin, you went outside to try and investigate and find out what the sounds were. But we were sat in the edit suite listening to those sounds back, thinking, God, this is really weird. And that's one of the reasons why we came up with that EVP graphic, because we could hear them and they're so distinctive. And we're thinking, if people are watching this online, we need to really emphasize that these are genuine sounds that are happening and they're responding to what you're saying, and that's the strange thing,
Yeah. It's like you were saying, you look at Kev's expression, we look at your expression because you're also a hardened skeptic. There are times when you're going, and Andy found that great shot on the 360, which pans to you going, huh? But there's also this shot of me pinned against the wall. And there's a moment in there where I was just like, holy shit, where am I? What is going on? This is beyond the realms of tech. This is beyond the realms of television or what we're doing. I'm in a basement with you guys and Kat, who's the museum curator. And there's footsteps, there's things being dragged, and then you're going, no, come on now, come on, make a sound, let us know that you're there. And then it goes, okay, then wah, wah, wah. And you can't explain it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, he can't explain it. It's on my right shoulder, my camera's there, I'm looking down that way, I'm looking back at you guys, and then there's sounds up there, and you're saying things like, can you just run down the stairs and make your presence really? I'm thinking, no, just don't. Shots were pinned against the wall, and I'm going, and I just did not want to be there.
Yeah.
So
John did actually tell me that bit scared on that
production ever. This is just a weird situation that I found myself in through doing this, and yeah, I get creeped out.
I felt quite comfortable down there. I wasn't freaked out at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think as well, because like I say, I think, Diane's been doing this years, I've been doing this years, and I've been in more uncomfortable positions than that, I've got to say, where things are literally going on around you. And I know that you think that it's going on around you, but I've had, things thrown and God knows what else. And that's when you really do have squeaky bum time, when you think, I just don't want to be in here anymore. Before we move on, Lisa, Karin, and Kev, what were your impressions when you watched the first episode, by the way?
You go first.
Who's going first?
You go, Kev.
Me? All right. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think there's certainly some bits, as me as a skeptic will go, well, we could test that or we could do something there. But I think you probably did the right thing, especially the vibration from Skya, the seismos. Considering you were getting that kind of hummy noise in the background and things, it was good that you had those set up. And it's good that they went off as well. So I quite enjoyed it. I was watching it and thinking, I that's pretty much exactly what I would have done. So yeah, I like it.
Go on then, Karin. What's your
Well,
thoughts?
to be honest, I've never been interested in haunted museums and dolls. And knowing yourself and Die, I'm intrigued actually to go myself, because your experiences and what's happened, I can take that as gospel truth, and I've got a feeling that I'll be booking to go back there, well, to go there anyway next year, because the two of you
I
just
think it's
gel so
I think
well.
I think it's one of those places which is worth, if you're interested in the weird side of things and you happen to be in Nottingham, then obviously Nottingham has got this, it's got the Galleries of Justice, which is a fantastic location. You can go down into the underground kind of cave systems in certain areas and things. And so Nottingham has a fantastic history anyway. So if you're interested in that, the paranormal spooky side, I'd say go across and have a look. Lisa, what did you think of the episode number one?
I thought it was really good. I find it fascinating that Di was drawn to that specific doll, because since she didn't know that John had witnessed it moving previously when he was there. And I love the fact that you both looked at it sensibly, and anything that happened, you're trying to find a reason why that happened. Like Di going upstairs and walking around to see if you could reproduce the footsteps, and then you, Justin, going outside to see if there's any grates on the roads that a car could have gone over to replicate the sound.
Or as John put it, walking the streets, which was just
you did really well.
Cheers, John.
Yeah, that's sticking.
I thought it was great. Really, really good.
It's good. So, John and Andy, did you want to say a little bit more about? Obviously, we've got the episode 2 next week, the Savoy Theatre. Sorry, not hotel, Savoy Theatre. Do you want to give people a little hint about the kind of thing that occurs in episode number 2?
I'm going to throw it to Andy in a minute, but just to tee it off, there's another one quite similar to Nottingham in a sense. Well, this one's a little bit different because there's no folklore, there's no history really to it. We didn't really know the story that we were going for. We just go and investigate. And yes, a whole world of EVPs came out, and weird stuff that was happening whilst we were there, and I found a load of it in the edit, and then Andy found even more. So Andy made an even bigger story out of what was going on. But
yeah, I mean, it was an interesting location, an amazing theatre, and just a really spooky storm hit when we arrived there, and we started to do the investigations. We were there most of the night, weren't we? It was a really long night. And I have to say,
left in the morning, I'm sure.
Yeah. And there was big sections, and that's one of the things that, was a surprise to me going on these investigations for the first time. There's big sections of time where it's quite boring. You're there, listening to sounds, doing an investigation, and 45 minutes to an hour has passed, and you think, well, there's not much that's going on. And then again, we get all the footage back and we listen through it, and people are talking and there's sounds and there's voices coming out, and you realise after the fact that just, when you're sort of settled and thinking there's not much going on, there's actually a ton of communication going on in the background that all kind of comes to light afterwards. So yeah. The theatre was very much again about the sounds, wasn't it? And a lot of kind of EVPs.
And then when you slice out those little bits of time, or those big chunks of time, as you say, and it all compresses down into what's the story, you see the narrative arc. You see there's a story there. You see that the questions that people are setting out to ask get answered. Maybe not exactly when they want them to be, but later on in the evening, in its own way, it comes out and it's resolved in one way or another. So from a sort of storytelling point of view, it's fascinating. It's a whole new way for me for telling stories. It's really interesting.
Just
anyone else hearing a loud hissing noise?
Yeah, I'll get the hissing noise. I'm not sure what it is. I'm guessing Karin.
Anyway, there you go. It's gone now.
Anyway,
gone.
Maybe we're being contacted as we're speaking. I'll record that and we'll listen to it a bit later on. There'll be voices in it.
just one thing I wanted to say very briefly. Kaza, who's watching this, who's donated memberships and donated super chat. Thank you so much, Kaza. I've not said thank you yet, but I'm just trying to get a word in edgeways. So thank you so much, Kaza. So Karin and Kev, you were in episode 3, which is the House of Frankenstein, a fantastic place in Bath, by the way.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting a bit of feedback. I think it's Karin. Are you taking your headphones off, Karin?
I think
that's what it is.
Corinne needs to turn down the volume.
Yeah, I know. Right. But for obviously everyone's not seen this particular. I don't know if anybody knows Bath really well, but the House of Frank, what an attraction this place is. It's a really, really cool one. Do you want to give people an overview of your episode, particularly?
Yeah, I can do. So me and Katie, Corinne, can you turn the volume down on your speaker?
Yay!
Are we there yet?
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, done.
Oh, right. I can talk. We went to Frankenstein House. There was a few things that tourists and things had experienced. Some of the staff had experienced. There was a lot of things to sort of look into. We got there for the night. We had Corinne and Lorienne sort of off to the side, waiting to come in with a bit more history and a bit more information on the place. We went in, performed a few sort of sound experiments with the basement area, as that was something someone had experienced. Did a few spirit box sessions, just allowed whatever came from the spirit box to kind of push us where we needed to be. And then concluded by having a meeting with Corinne and Lorienne, which actually lined up a lot of the names we got through the spirit box was historically accurate, which was quite cool. And then we had things happen in the attic area. And then I allowed the girls to go off and do their thing. And that's as much I'm going to give away.
You've given away quite a lot, actually. Corinne, what are your thoughts about the House of Frankenstein?
I absolutely loved it. It was so beautiful, but also I like the real story of the people that lived there. And we were so lucky, myself and Lorian, to find some fascinating information about the former occupants. And as you said, it seemed to, make sense with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose as well, Corinne, obviously we go into other places in episodes 4, 5, 6, which have already been filmed and already been done and things like that. But there's some amazing incidents. And I think John and Andy kind of alluded to it before, and you said it as well. They are so lucky to actually capture anything. And there are some things that have been caught which seem, particularly the seance around the table, was it Old Waltham Castle, which was incredible, which if people didn't see it when it was as part of Somerset Supernatural way back when, do you want to say to people, because there were some genuinely fascinating things going on at that seance?
Exactly. And I remember saying to Kev, well, why don't we do a seance in Turret 8? It was a last minute thing. So no one could set anything up. And to watch my fellow colleague and friend to have this intelligent tapping, to watch the look of shock on his face, and also poor John behind the camera was having experiences as well. It was out of this world. Is there something that you experience probably once every 10 years? That sort of thing that has you walking away with shock. And I'm so glad Kev had that, and we were so lucky to catch it on camera, because normally these things don't happen on camera.
It didn't end there though, did it? Because it was such a seminal experience for so many people. And then it was talked about a lot. And yes, it was in Somerset Supernatural, which was the pilot a year ago. But then 8 months later, you happened to mention to me, we're going back. I was away on another job. Andy said, I'll go. And then Andy coerced me after doing a 12-hour shift somewhere to come and join. I was like, okay, then I'll go. I was doing another all-nighter, and we did. And then in the edit for that, it's an extension of the same story. So whatever was happening around that table, tried to recreate it, and you didn't feel at the time that you'd excelled in it. It didn't quite work out the way you thought it did, but then in the edit, it actually did. And that's not us construing anything or misconstruing anything. It's us just, Andy was saying earlier, it's like in TV, you're cutting an interview between two people. And sometimes we forget and we're like, you ask a question, then we're looking through the radio waves for the answer and we find it. And oh, there it is. There's the answer. And we cut in a two-way conversation. And at one point you realize, what am I doing? That's not a person. That's just a random voice coming through the radio, but it's in response. And it's an extension of the same story, basically, part two. And to me, that was a validation of what happened on Kev's experience, and it just blew it wide open for me. It's just like you cannot expect to go back to the same location and get a continuation, and we did.
Yeah. Just before we go on to people's questions, because like I said, now's the time. If you've got questions for the guys, then now's the time to start thinking of questions for them. But I might come back onto Kev in a minute, seeing if he can give me an explanation for all those things that happened at the seance. But which he's not going to be able to. But where do you see the future of? So much. Where do you see the future of this whole series? You know, what would you like to happen? You know, would it go in mainstream TV, or is there anything else you would like to see happen with this series?
Would I love to happen? I just love to be able to continue doing this. I think the freedom we've got through doing this for YouTube is phenomenal. And the idea is if this can connect with viewers, people want to see it, then we can keep making it, which is just amazing. So the idea that we could do this for another 5 years and just pursue whatever stories come up, whatever stories are interesting. We don't want to do just purely there's a haunting here or a haunted house or whatever. It's all good. It's all got its place, but there are so many other things within the sort of supernatural umbrella that we could just, you know, test and be more scientific with things as well, because the success rate we've had so far is really interesting. And as people keep telling us, it's quite phenomenal. So let's push it. Let's push it. Let's push it. Let's push it. Let's try and get really scientific and get some answers to these things. And it feels like we're kind of quite on the cusp of that. So it'd be a crime if we couldn't keep doing it. But obviously, you know, depends on the success of this first series. But yeah, I'm up for it. I think Andy might be up for it now as well.
Yeah. I mean, and YouTube as a platform has been fantastic. The community that supported us has been brilliant. You know, that's been a real eye opener for me. And the freedom that we've had to kind of explore the stories has been great, and I wouldn't want to lose that. You know, I think I kind of feel like we've only just got started. The technologies, some of the techniques that we've been using, you know, we've made mistakes, we've learned from them, and again, it just feels like we're really just getting going. So, and certainly some of the places we've been to where significant things have happened, I know that I personally would like to go back and revisit, you know, and be more scientific, throw some more equipment at it, you know, and really explore some of the stories.
Question here for John saying, what is your favorite episode, John?
It's really tricky because I've just finished editing one that is blowing my mind. They're all blowing my mind, obviously, but I would have to say currently, episode 8, which is with Kate Ray. She's messaging me at the minute, so she'll be pleased to hear this. But it's another one of those stories where, you know, a couple of things is interesting, 3 things is a coincidence, 4 things is a bit, and then we get into the realms of, and hang on, we've got like 15 things together that string together that tell this story, and we're like, what? And Kate also, he's a very charismatic person, so we're kind of debunking what it means to be a paranormal investigator. It's not all spooky and scary and horrible. She's like skipping around going, oh my god, it's amazing, you know, and we're like, what? And things are happening in response to what she's doing. There's cat balls going off. Okay, I know cat balls are a contentious issue and all the rest of it, but in response to things, and just so many things that are just like one after the other, it just keeps going. And it was a wild ride. And literally that one, we were there until the sun came up. And we just kind of
Kate Ray's phenomenal, isn't she? She really is.
That's been a big old edit, and I think it's going to make an amazing episode. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
Awesome. Truth Seekers saying, Andy, John, are you now converted from being skeptics to being believers in the paranormal?
That one's for Andy.
Well, to a certain extent, I can't deny, I'm really struggling to deny what I've seen. I was super skeptical, obviously, when I started. And, things have happened. I can't explain.
Shepton Mallet prison, just explain what happened to you at Shepton Mallet.
Well, yeah, I mean, so we filmed at Shepton Mallet, and there was we brought along a security dog to explore the site. It was the most vicious dog I think I've come across. It came with two handlers, one person to handle the dog, and the second person to get it off you if it broke the lead. Super highly trained animal that's used to exploring all sorts of sort of diverse locations. We took it into the prison, and halfway through one of our interviews there was a strange slamming noise from one of the prison doors, and the dog handler took the dog up to investigate, and I went along to film, and the dog went crazy. It's all in the episode. I don't really want to give away any spoilers, but the dog kind of lost it. I was filming the dog, and I was getting the sound of this whimpering dog on the top mic of the camera. And as we were going around, I could hear our two contributors, the two people who'd previously been filming, chatting. And I was kind of slightly put out, for a better expression, because I was thinking, well, hang on a minute, you guys are chatting, and I'm trying to get the audio of this dog. It's like an amazing moment. I'm trying to film it. And when we stopped, I turned around, and they weren't there. There was no one there. And I said to John, what had happened to the ladies. I could hear them talking, and they'd gone back to our breakout area earlier as I was doing the shot. But I'm 1,000% convinced, 1,000%. I could hear women talking, and so much so that when we got the footage back, I spent half a day going through all the footage, because I was thinking, well, it's going to be on the camera.
There's nothing there.
And there's nothing there, and
you imagine it all.
Yeah, but I was obviously told afterwards that was actually it was a women's ward, and that was where the women would go through. And apparently there'd been a whole series of stories of visitors that heard women's voices in this area of the prison. And I can genuinely, hand on heart, say I knew nothing about that, didn't believe in any of it, was complete skeptic. But I would have bet my life that I could hear those women talking as we recorded. And even now, I still feel like if I go back to the footage, I still feel like it must be there somewhere. If I dig a little bit deeper, I'm bound to be able to hear them on one of the mics. So there are these things where you could be skeptical, but equally, difficult to deny, really.
All right. A question here from Roger saying, John and Andy, when it came to conceptualizing the series, how confident were you that you could bring something different to an already crowded field?
I mean, I've been doing a lot of these Dorset and Somerset type series, which were all like little pockets of people's worlds, or somebody who's a lobster farmer, and, somebody who's ploughing fields or whatever and entering some contest. So I was doing these little segments of life for people, and it was a really interesting format, and it was really successful for Channel 5. So I thought, let's apply that to Supernatural, because it's just, this is a non-judgmental, real people, real places, real experiences. Let's film what happens and give everybody a little 5 minutes or whatever. That was the sort of jumping off point. So it wasn't like, oh, let's try and invent the paranormal. I don't even, to be honest, watch paranormal TV shows. It was just like, I find it interesting. Did you want to come? Go on. So we didn't have any money or anything to do it. So it was kind of in our downtime, and we just kind of got on with it. So we didn't set off with any grandiose ideas, just the sort of naive excitement. What if we capture something? And here we are.
Fab. Jem Treadwin saying, I love the show. Well done to you all. Have you got plans maybe to make the next season of episodes longer or more in depth? That's going to kill you both.
Well, it could be longer. To be fair, we've had that conversation, haven't we? You know, I mean,
we're stuck in that kind of TV formatting thing where you think, oh, it's got 30-minute slot or whatever, but it doesn't actually for YouTube. So I think the stories are as long as they need to be. So, but we were aware that people have a short attention span nowadays, so I don't know.
I think we were talking about whether we put some of the content so that, like an Esther's session, we could put the whole session.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to watch an hour's worth, but you know, so a lot of that stuff is, you know, it's very dry and it's slow, but you just get these phenomenal events that happen during it, you know. So I guess if people are keen, they might want to watch the whole process.
Yeah.
One different Crystal saying, would you or have you ever taken a medium with you,
Yes,
Ghost
we
Hunter?
have. Yeah, more than once. Yes.
Yeah, I'll do.
That's one there. Yeah.
There we go. One again from Roger saying to Diane this time, saying, Diane, what were your feelings when you first handled the shark-eyed girl doll?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just drawn to her. I didn't feel spooked out. I didn't get any sensations from her. I just had this overwhelming sort of feeling that I felt a little bit sorry for her. And that's really weird because it's an inanimate object. And I'm thinking, oh, this poor little doll, look at her. She's looked like she's been burnt and pulled apart and whatever. I just, yeah, that's all I can say.
Just Kaza, I'm just putting this on the screen, just saying, member for 11 months Paranormal God. I didn't think Justin could top his last podcast, but this is amazing. There you go. That's credit to all of you guys and what you've achieved actually, and everything you've done. Thank you so much to Spange for gifting a membership. Thank you so much, Spange. I'm just going to quickly go through if there's any other last little few questions. I don't think I'm just going to. Oh, there we go. One here from APRF saying, there you go. What location would the panel most like to visit?
Well, I know. I've always wanted to do Huska Castle in the Czech Republic.
Okay.
And why that one?
I just think there's just so much folklore and legend attached to it, and it's in a great location where it is, and it's just got a fascinating history, and I want to know what's down in that hole in the bottom. So yeah,
Go on then, Kev. What about yourself?
Czech Republic for me.
Yeah, I think it's between Chillingham Castle is one of my bucket list places to go. And probably, yeah, or Suicide Woods as well. That's another one. I can't remember how to say it. Or the Island of the Dolls as well in Mexico. So yeah, quite a few.
Go on, Karin.
I would like to go on one of those big super ships. You know, the Americans have them, don't they? The big aircraft carriers. Love to do that. And I would like to do, and of course it would never happen, but I would like to do Sidley Castle because of the connections with the Tudors.
Fab. Okay, Lisa.
I would like to do the catacombs in Prague.
Oh, in Prague, not Paris then.
No,
Oh, okay.
Catacombs in Prague. The reason is my sister went there years ago and she had an unexplainable experience. So I want to go there and run some psychological experiments on people. And yeah, because I think what was experienced was all down to implantation, and her mind was playing tricks on her, and I want to kind of recreate it with different beliefs and different skepticisms to see, you know, if everyone experiences the same thing. So I'd like to try that.
Yeah. And John and Andy, have you got particular places you would like to go? Not, I mean, maybe personally, or for a future episode.
I want to go to the most haunted places on Earth. Basically, I'm ready to push it. So RMS Queen Mary, that will be a good one. That's up there, right at the top, definitely.
Yeah.
Want to go a place where it's just riddled with history, riddled with stories. Let's go and push it and see what we can dig up. That'd be my dream.
Well, I'm just going wherever John's going, basically.
Well,
Basically, I'll just follow him and film.
Whether the man can get us.
We've talked about an anechoic chamber, haven't we? And somewhere really scientific that's separated sound and frequencies, and doing an investigation there. And I think that would be really interesting. So
it's like in solitary confinement somewhere that's completely cut off from the rest of the world. We'll see what.
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to finish in a second. So before we go, I suppose, John, Andy, as you know, the creators of this, what would you like people to do, in terms of not just viewing it, so people subscribe it? Can they, is there anything else that they could do to help push the profile of this series?
Subscribe and share, basically. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, because that's really important, because that will give us the longevity. If we can get, I think we need 400 subscribers, or is it 500 and 4,000 hours viewed, and then we can start to be self-sufficient in theory. So that would be lovely. So if you like it, just give it a subscribe and a like. That would be brilliant. Yeah, and tell your friends.
Absolutely, yeah. I think absolutely just share it around, because if you enjoy it and you like the I think it's what I really genuinely liked is the fact that this is, it's not been run by a big production company. Therefore, you don't have to tick those boxes. It's having that absolute genuine view of investigators. And I know there'll be people in future episodes that will be looking at things like some of the equipment you've used, whether it's ghost tube apps and Estes method, and there'll be techniques and things that cat balls, and there'll be people that are going, oh God, it's the same kind of. But actually, in fairness, I think it just gives a very fair reflection of techniques and tools that people are using out there without any. Is that fair?
If you can get communication through Estes method, through radio waves, it's like, if something's going to choose to communicate with you through that technology, why can't it use other technology? It just none of it makes any sense. As far as I'm concerned, it's all just fair game. Do you know what I mean? Let's try it all. Who knows? Sometimes people have amazing experience on the Ouija board. I've never seen a single solid experience on a Ouija board. It sucks. I get really bored. I just think it's rubbish, and it's nothing like the movies. Other people.
And yeah, go on.
That's it. So.
And Kev, did you manage to explain your seance?
Yeah, well, I managed to cover pretty much all the controls, and I managed to go down a complete and utter rabbit hole of taps and raps and all kinds of things, and even designed with Andy from Sky a piece of equipment to try and look at why it might happen. So yeah, it's exactly what it should be. If you come across something you don't understand, you'd start to dig into. I've spoken to a lot of experts on it, looked at all my theories of it, and one for me seems a bit more legitimate. So we've designed a piece of equipment to test that. So there's a lot that's come from that one experience, and it's been good because it put a bit more fire up my backside of let's get back out there and really start digging deep again, which I think all of us need every now and again. Is one of those experiences.
Do you know what? I mean, I don't know if any, this is the same for everybody else, but from doing that one episode, it does genuinely make me want to go back out investigating more, and not just do the podcast stuff. I mean, Karin and Lisa and Diane, going to give you a drive to get back out there more?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, especially, I have so many
I'm
ideas.
putting you down for episode 11, Justin. Right, you signed up.
Said it now.
Sorry, Karin, we talked over there. What did you say?
I've
Sorry.
got so many ideas for weird and wacky experiments that hopefully will come to fruition in the future. And myself and John, we've spoken long about different things, and I just would love to get this on camera and see if it's successful. But again, it has to be with the right people, and so far we've picked the right people every time. And I think that is part of the success. And obviously, it's all down to Andy and John in the magic they bring to the screen.
And you picking the right people.
Yeah,
I think that's an important point with
exactly.
it. Is a lot of us come together, and a lot of us have completely different opinions. And I think what it shows is actually within the paranormal, people with completely different opinions can work quite happily side by side together. I can sit and work with mediums if need be, and I might be a skeptic, but I will work with anyone's idea of what they think might work, and I'd happily test that. And the other way around, different mediums working together, doesn't matter what belief you have or ability or the way you approach things, that we can actually work together and get results.
For sure.
Fabulous. Right. I think we're going to leave it there, guys. Just want to say massive thank you. First of all, for inviting me on to go for episode 1. No pressure. Diane, no pressure for episode 1. but a genuine thank you to Karin and for suggesting us to go on there. And I hope this whole series goes from strength to strength, because it thoroughly deserves to, I've got to say. It's it's very rare to find something that's new, that's had that production value and gone around things in the right way, so I think it's a very rare thing. So I think it, hopefully, I like to say, fingers crossed, it all just kind of kicks off and starts the ball rolling now for you guys.
Amazing.
Fingers
Really
crossed. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right, I'm just going to minimize you guys one at a time, because I don't think I can get rid of you all in one fell swoop. So just a massive thank you, Lisa, Karin, Diane, Kev, Andy and John. Absolute pleasure having you on and talking to you about the Supernatural UK. If you have not subscribed, please do go across on YouTube, and you do need to write the word "the Supernatural UK," and it'll get you to the right place. Right. Thank you so much, guys. And I hope to see you again very soon, or hear from you again very soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
No problem. Bye. Right. Let's start making them disappear one by one. There's a lot of people to go. There we go. I'll probably be left with me and Kev.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh God. No, let's not do it. Let's get no. Let's get rid of Kev. Right, guys. Thank you so much for everybody. Like I say, that seemed a bit of a Zoom call. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope, like I say, if nothing else, it makes you go and watch the Supernatural UK episode. Objects That Move, it's called. Episode 1 is out. There'll be a new episode every single week for 10 weeks. Please do check it out. Next week, I've got a lovely lady called Alice Vernon who'll be coming on, author of a brand new book called Ghosted, A History of Ghost Hunting and Why We Keep Looking. So that is next week, guys. Alice Vernon. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for all your chats. Kazza, again, thank you so much for your generosity. Weird Fox, thank you so much for solo modding. It's thoroughly appreciated. Well done. And thank you, guys. And anyway, I shall see you again next Monday, or maybe sooner, because it's the school holidays now. So, you never know. I might come out for a sneaky live, just to keep you on your toes. All right, night. Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys, and I'll wish you good night. Okay, bye-bye.